Welcome back to our channel, where we explore insightful books that can transform your life. Have you ever felt like a failure in life? Are you struggling with setbacks and disappointments? If so, then How to Fail by Elizabeth Day might just be the book you need. In this insightful and candid exploration of failure, Day reveals the hidden power and potential for growth that can come from embracing our mistakes and shortcomings. So, let's dive into the summary of this incredible book. But before we dive into the content, I kindly request a moment of your time to appreciate this video by liking it, subscribing to the channel, and ringing that notification bell. Your support means a lot to me. Thanks a lot. Elizabeth Day, a renowned author and journalist, takes readers on a journey to redefine how we perceive failure. Drawing from her own personal experiences and compelling interviews with successful figures, Day delves into the profound lessons that failure can teach us about resilience, self-worth, and the true meaning of success. Through a series of poignant anecdotes and reflections, How to Fail challenges the notion that failure is something to be feared or avoided at all costs. Instead, Day encourages readers to embrace failure as a natural part of life's journey and to learn from it in order to grow and evolve as individuals. How to Fail shows the surprising benefits of going through a difficult time through the experiences of the author, Elizabeth Day, including the failures in her life that she's grateful for and how they've helped her grow, uncovering why we shouldn't be so afraid of failure but instead embrace it. Here is a quote from the author. "There are countless books out there about how to succeed. But what about books about how to fail? Let's face it, every one of us will fail at some point or other in life. So why not learn how to make the best of it? How to Fail, Everything I've Ever Learned from Things Gone Wrong by Elizabeth Day is exactly that. She gives an honest guide on how to get through the hardest times in life. But that's not all, she will also teach you why failure is a good thing. You heard that right. She reveals that our failures teach us some of the most important lessons in life, like we are, what we want, and how we can improve. In the end, how we learn from the painful experiences in life can turn our supposed mess-ups into successes. Here are the 3 of the most helpful lessons this book taught me. Your 20s are a great time to mess up and learn from your mistakes. Failing in a relationship can teach you a lot about yourself. You can be successful and also experience failure in other areas of life. Failure is a good thing? What? Let's jump right into these lessons and learn why. Lesson 1. Your 20s are a great time in life to make mistakes and learn what you really want. Failing sucks, but it also teaches us important things, like what area we needed to study harder in. When best-selling journalist and author Dolly Alderton was rejected by the college she wanted to attend, she was shocked. She had lived a pretty coddled life up until that point, and she wasn't used to rejection. Now, she's grateful for the wake-up call from her entitlement in her early 20s. It helped prepare her for the harsh realities of adult life. In fact, your 20s are a great time to experience failure and learn from it. It's a time to prepare for adult life and realize who you are and what you want to do with your life. How else are you going to learn without stumbling a few times first? Your 20s are the time to transition between adolescence and adulthood, and there is no rush. Day often reflects on how she was so serious about starting her career and landing her husband right after college. She now realizes she didn't need to be in such a rush. She should have spent more time finding out what she really wanted. So if you're in your 20s and you feel like you're failing, relax. Lesson 2. You learn a lot about yourself when you fail at love. After a few long-term relationships in her 20s, Day settled down and got married. But, unfortunately, the relationships she had were pretty old-fashioned, and she was quickly the cook, cleaner, and shopper, all while holding a full-time job. She would tell herself that she was a strong woman for doing all of the chores, but she was actually putting the men in her life before her well-being. In short, she was failing in her relationships. With this came a drop in her self-worth and, eventually, a divorce. While anyone can tell you divorce is absolutely not something you want to endure, Day acknowledges how important this experience was for her. It not only helped her find her voice but also realize what she needed in life. After reflecting on her previous relationships, she realized she was stuck in a cycle of trying to complete herself with other people. Soon, she was actually able to have gratitude for each relationship and what it taught her. This helped her jump back into the dating pool and be prepared for a healthy relationship. While dating again, failed relationships and dates helped her see that she still needed to learn how to stop pleasing others and start listening to her own desires. Failed relationships can often make you want to close up and keep yourself from getting close to someone again. But one of the most important things Day learned: it's important to stay open even when you've just had a painful heartbreak. Lesson 3. Just because you're successful, it doesn't mean you are immune to failure. You can be a successful person and also be unhappy. It seems impossible that someone with millions of fans or millions of dollars could really not be satisfied with their life. They must be pretty ungrateful, right? It's cliché, but money really doesn't buy happiness. We put far too much value into material things when they are really just stuff. Day found this to be true in her research over the years. She met many people who experienced newfound money or fame, and it didn't necessarily mean they were happy. In conversations with actors Robert Pattinson, Simon Pegg, and Nicole Kidman, she learned that being famous came at the cost of their personal well-being. For example, Pattinson struggled with feelings of isolation and an utter lack of personal control in his life. Pegg said he was much happier when he was a minor celebrity on a British TV show. After starring in hit movies, he found himself lost in Hollywood. It took recentering his life around his family to center him again. Nicole Kidman dealt with depression after she won an Oscar. The only way to find herself again was to reconnect with nature and give up acting for a while. She finally could reevaluate what was important in life, and soon she was happy and ready to start working again. Remember, when you are looking at your failures in life, you are the only person who can say whether an experience is a success or a failure. In reality, most events can be both, it just depends on how you see them. A lot of this was just the author's personal experiences with a "here's what I learned" attached to it, but I didn't mind too much. Books like How to Fail with stories on the topic definitely have an important place in helping us grow because they explain why we should do certain things, not just how. Stories help us connect and understand things more deeply, which is why I really like this book. How to Fail by Elizabeth Day is a memoir and self-help book that acknowledges the inevitability of failure and offers insights into how to learn from it. It encourages the reader to embrace imperfection and use failure as a springboard for personal growth. How to Fail is an honest and revealing look at the abundant rewards that come from making it through the toughest of times. Author Elizabeth Day takes us through many of the formative events in her life that some could call failures, yet she is nonetheless grateful for. Many fear failure like the plague, but it is often unavoidable, and for good reason too, because if we didn't fail, we wouldn't learn the many important lessons that make us smarter and better at living life. Elizabeth Day is a best-selling author and the host of the popular interview podcast How to Fail with Elizabeth Day. She is also an award-winning journalist, having been a staff writer at The Observer and subsequently contributing to The Telegraph, The Times, and Harper's Bazaar. Her novels include Scissors, Paper, Stone, Home Fires, and The Party. How to Fail by Elizabeth Day is a thought-provoking exploration of failure and its transformative power. Here are 3 reasons why this book is worth reading. The relatable stories and experiences shared throughout the book make it incredibly relatable and comforting, reminding us that failure is a universal experience. Through examining failure, Day offers insights and lessons that can help reshape our perspective on success and motivate us to embrace our vulnerabilities. With its playful tone and humorous anecdotes, the book takes a refreshing approach to a topic often seen as negative, making it a compelling and enjoyable read. Here is a sentence showcasing the greatness of a quote of this book. "Yes, you might be hurt and heartbreak is always shattering, but it is never fatal and it does get better." Elizabeth Day. Here are some invaluable insights gleaned from this captivating book. I trust you will find them exceedingly beneficial. Feel free to delve deeper into its wisdom and let it inspire new perspectives and ideas in your journey. 1. Failing at fitting in can teach you how to be resilient and prepare you for the future. Primary school can be a challenging experience for a lot of kids, but if you were a young English child growing up in Northern Ireland during the 80s, it was probably extremely rough. This was the case for the author, Elizabeth Day. Though Day was born in England, her family moved to Northern Ireland when her father took a job at a hospital near the town of Derry. Since this was during the Troubles, the English were seen as the hated occupiers, and Day's accent was enough to make her fellow students dislike her. Though her parents raised her to have a strong sense of individuality, at school, Day longed simply to fit in and to this end even tried to talk as little as possible. But given the circumstances, it was next to impossible for her to fit in, and the teasing got so bad that she succeeded in getting her parents to send her to a boarding school in England instead. While failing to fit in was a terrible experience, it led Day to learn some beneficial skills. By keeping quiet, Day became an adept observer of human behavior, a skill that came in handy later in her career as a journalist and novelist. Day has spoken to many successful people who grew up alienated or bullied at school, like American actress Christina Hendricks and Guyana-born political campaigner Gina Miller, both of whom learned how to be resilient and determined as a result. Hendricks was so bullied in school that her classmates weren't above spitting on her. But it caused her to respond in ways that may have actually helped her future career. For starters, she adopted a new persona, dressing in black and wearing Doc Martens boots as a form of armor against the bullies. She also found sanctuary in the school's drama department, where she could take on even more personas and let loose her feelings through acting. As for Miller, her boarding school tormentors went so far as to steal the bottle of her mother's perfume that helped keep her from becoming too homesick. But instead of getting angry, Miller developed a resilience that took the form of determined goodwill, having learned that bullies are routinely disarmed by kindness. This lesson served her well later in life, providing her with the resilience needed to cope with the death threats she received after questioning the legality of Britain's Brexit plan in court in 2016. 2. Failing tests can teach you a lot, and your 20s are a good time for messing up. Day's older sister was so good at driving and marksmanship that she earned the nickname Jane Bond. So, when Day could finally take her own driving test, she was crushed when her small mistake in shifting into gear on a steep hill resulted in a fail. Ultimately though, the failed test was a benefit in disguise since it allowed Day to approach the second test with more confidence and feeling she had nothing to lose. As a result, she not only aced the test, she also learned that test scores are often arbitrary. With so little separating the two tests, she could see that it was all up to the instructor and what they felt was good enough on any given day. 3. Failing at relationships and dating can make you more knowledgeable about yourself. Between her 20s and early 30s, Day moved directly from a few long-term relationships into a marriage. And despite the strides women had made over the previous few decades, all her relationships could have existed in the 1970s, since she was doing the shopping, cooking, and cleaning, all the while holding down a full-time job. Essentially, Day was failing at her relationships. While she was telling herself that working and doing all the chores made her a strong woman, she now knows that she was really treating the men in her life better than she was treating herself. And during this time, her own sense of self-worth was circling the drain. 4. Only the rich and famous can live up to celebrity standards. It's difficult for any woman to live in a culture where the impossibly flawless and thin bodies of female celebrities are worshipped non-stop in all media. But Day knows firsthand that it's impossible for anyone with a normal life to look like these celebrities. This comforting knowledge was gained after she took on a commission job with the Sunday Times to spend a week living like Gwyneth Paltrow, whose online goop empire suggests that you too can be as happy and pretty as she is, with the right $100 face cream, yoga pants, and recipe book. 5. Friendships aren't easy, but they can actually be more rewarding than romantic relationships. When Day was in primary school, she had a close friend named Susan. They did everything together, whether it was acting in school plays, going bowling, or creating dance routines to their favorite ABBA songs. Susan was not only fun, she was also excellent at math and art, two things Day could never claim as strengths. But then, one day, Rachel arrived. Rachel was also great at math, art, and just about everything else. Soon, Day was only able to look on in despair as Susan started spending more time with Rachel and less time with her. 6. Missing out on having children can be a painful experience, but it can be overcome. Day had always imagined having kids of her own. As a teen, she remembers having fun with her sister as they picked out possible baby names. So it's safe to say that one of the most difficult ordeals in Day's life has been failing at babies, and coping with the fact that she might never be able to get pregnant. In the life skills class she took at boarding school, Day and her fellow female classmates learned about birth control and the dangers of sexually transmitted diseases. Yet they never learned about what really goes on in a woman's body when it comes to fertility. 7. For generations, women have been expected to fail at anger, but this is finally changing. Along with more women choosing not to have kids, there's also been a change in the way women are dealing with their anger. For a long time, whenever a woman displayed anger, it was taken as some sort of character defect on their part. They were treated as irrational, laughable, or even dangerous. At one point in history, angry women were even burned at the stake as witches. At another point, an angry woman by the name of Rosa Parks was recast in the history books as being a demure lady who simply refused to give up her seat in a bus to a white man, even though Parks described herself as angry, and rightfully so. 8. Failing at success isn't a contradiction, it's a common occurrence that teaches us that material things aren't what's important. When people hear that a successful person is unhappy, often some serious eye-rolling takes place. How can someone with adoring fans or millions of dollars complain about anything? Obviously, they must be completely ungrateful to think they have the right to be unhappy. However, this response misses out on a major issue. Namely, if people aren't happy with fame and money, maybe we're putting too much value on such things? How to Fail offers practical advice and actionable strategies for reframing our relationship with failure, including tips on building resilience, cultivating self-compassion, and harnessing the power of vulnerability. By shifting our perspective and embracing our imperfections, Day argues that we can unlock our full potential and live more authentic and fulfilled lives. This captivating book is a reminder that failure is not the end of the road but rather a crucial part of the journey toward success. Elizabeth Day's writing is honest, relatable, and full of wisdom that will resonate with readers from all walks of life. How to Fail is a beacon of hope for those who have struggled with setbacks and challenges, offering a roadmap for resilience and self-discovery. In our darkest moments of failure, we have the opportunity to confront our fears, confront our limitations, and confront our true selves. It is in these moments of vulnerability that we can find our greatest strengths and emerge stronger and more resilient than ever before. Throughout How to Fail, Elizabeth Day prompts readers to reflect on their own experiences with failure and consider how these setbacks have shaped their identities and aspirations. By engaging with these introspective questions, readers can gain a deeper understanding of their fears, insecurities, and strengths, ultimately empowering them to take control of their narratives and redefine their paths to success. Countless readers have been moved by the raw honesty and vulnerability of How to Fail, finding solace and inspiration in Day's powerful message of self-acceptance and growth. From students struggling with academic setbacks to professionals navigating career challenges, this book has resonated with individuals at every stage of life, offering a beacon of hope and encouragement in the face of adversity. Join the conversation and share your own stories of failure and growth using the hashtag #HowToFail. Let us know how you've transformed setbacks into opportunities and embraced the power of resilience in your own life. Together, we can create a supportive community that celebrates the beauty and complexity of the human experience. So, if you're ready to transform your relationship with failure and unlock the key to personal growth and success, be sure to pick up a copy of How to Fail by Elizabeth Day today. Join the countless readers who have found inspiration and empowerment in these pages and discover the transformative power of embracing failure as a stepping stone to greatness. You can find the link to acquire a copy of this incredible book in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you found this book summary helpful, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more book summaries and insightful content. And share this uplifting summary with someone who may benefit from hearing them. Leave a comment down below if you've read this book or have any other recommendations for us. Thank you for tuning in to this special feature on How to Fail by Elizabeth Day. We hope you feel inspired to embrace your failures, learn from your mistakes, and pursue your dreams with courage and conviction. Remember, it's not about how many times you fall, it's about how you rise each time. Stay strong, stay resilient, and keep striving for greatness.